We all dream of fame and success, but not all our dreams come true. What makes our achievers' dreams come true? Our achiever today is criminal lawyer Ritu Sethi, a lethal combination of beauty with brains and a jack of many trades. Let's talk to Ritu today. Ritu, you're a real trailblazer with numerous awards to your names. The Judiciary Award, the Jewel Award, the Asian Businesswoman of the Year Award, First Woman of Achievement Award, the Asian Business Owner of the Year Award. Truly a true achiever. How do you manage to have beauty and brains, a rare combination?
I think I'm blessed by God.
Really?
What else can I say? Yeah, I mean, it's all hard work plus a bit of luck plus blessings from everyone I come in contact with. So I think it's a bit of everything.
Couldn't be just blessings, Ritu. You work too hard.
I'd
ask the whole world, bless us, if it could just be blessings.
I think everyone works hard. It's also finding the opportunities and having the support. Where I'm concerned, it all started 20 years ago when there were hardly any women lawyers entering the profession. And when I did set up Sethi Partnership Solicitors 20 years ago, it was one of the first Asian women-run practices. All the people I'd studied law with, they either went into the city, worked very long hours and did very well, or they became housewives or went into part-time jobs. So what I did was find something that I can actually work near home, set up my own practice and work around the children. And touch wood, it just grew from strength to strength and became quite an iconic and successful practice.
But what I find very different about you, there are lots of women who've done extremely well in their particular career, but you're a jack of many trades. I was amazed when I was reading your biography. You're a criminal lawyer, you're a motivational speaker, you're a fitness instructor, you're a trained beautician. I mean, you even had your own television talk show.
Yes.
How do you manage to fill all these roles?
Well, they weren't all at the same time. So whilst it might sound like, I don't have time to breathe, these have been done over a period of time. And what happens is that, I suppose like any achiever, you always feel you've underaccomplished. So there's always a next thing that you're looking to do. So when I went into, for instance, when I became a criminal lawyer, I was, and I still am, at police stations and courts and defending people. That's what I do. That's what I do best. And that's basically my profession and the practice that I run. But the fitness instructing, for instance, was about 6 years ago. I decided I wanted to focus on my fitness. So I took 6 months out of the practice, and I have people who run it. I mean, there's about 25, 30 of us in the practice. So it wasn't such a big deal. I've got managers and I've got people in place, and a very good junior partner. But then I took 6 months out and went and did a YMCA course, and I was probably one of the eldest there, because there were a lot of young, sort of 18, 19-year-olds doing the YMCA fitness instructing course.
But do people think, Ritu, hang on, what's happening here?
Well,
you've already accomplished so much. Fitness training doesn't really fit with the legal profession.
Yeah, but it's always been a hobby. I've always been a member of a gym, whether I've used it or not. I've always trained. So it is something that comes very naturally. I did the moonwalk, which is it's a 13-mile walk for breast cancer.
But it is unique, Ritu, because a lot of people, when they are doing very well in their chosen career, may that be medicine or may that be business, they give up on a lot of other things, like their other interests in life, because they're so focused on their career. Whereas you have managed to do extremely well in your career, yet not give up on the other activities that you were fond of, like, beauty training for example, or you're also a motivational speaker.
Yes.
So you've kind of kept an amazing balance. How have you managed to keep that?
Well, the beauty therapy I did early on, when I've always been interested in beauty and fitness. I suppose they go hand in hand, just in looking good. So that was very
great, by the way.
Oh, thank you to the makeup artist. So that goes hand in hand. But then the motivational speaking really came about when I won the awards, and then I was asked to come on to programs, to come on to seminars, to come on to the London Mayor's Conference, the International Women's Conference, and speak in front of 2,000 women to motivate women to go into their chosen career. It wasn't all about, well, we're staying at home and we can't do anything else. By just going and talking and telling them, ask my story, that I'm a mother, I'm a wife, but that never stopped me from achieving.
You became a role model.
I became a role model, and after a lot of my speaks and talks, I was asked to sign autographs and things, which I was absolutely gobsmacked, and so were my kids, you know.
Yeah. Now, when you were young, you were 3 girls.
Yes.
And your parents were very focused on your education.
Absolutely, they were teachers. My father and mother were both teachers in Kisumu. My father, Mr. Bernot, very well-known teacher in Kisumu and in this country. So education was really fundamental, you know. 3 girls, and I have a brother as well who's older to me.
Yes.
And I was born in Kenya, and they were both teachers there. Then when we came to this country, it was really primary focus for my parents was because of the education system here that we came. But education was really fundamental. And by the time I was 16, I went to a grammar school, Ilford County Girls' Grammar School in Ilford, or Gants Hill. When I was 16, I decided I didn't want to carry on education.
Really?
So I wanted
that must have been a shock to your father.
I wanted to join the army. So we had, this is my 16-year-old rebellious nature, and my father said, you can join the army anytime you want, but first get an education. So I really did begrudge the fact that I had to do my O-levels, those days, GCSEs now, A-levels, and had to go to university before I could go join the army.
Now, talking about your career as a criminal lawyer, why did you choose this particular field? Because it's a bit of a gory field, and one would have thought that, you know, women don't generally tend to go towards
criminal law.
Criminal law. I mean,
yes.
Was it a bit disturbing?
I was probably one of the earlier women, Asian women, to be criminal lawyers. Now there's a whole dearth of them. But 20 years ago, especially where I practice, I'm in Harrow, but I also practice at Heathrow Airport for drug importation cases, and then at Acton, Southall, Harrow, and then it used to be Watford. Watford was a very English area when I first started practicing there. And they hadn't actually seen an Indian woman come to the courts to defend anyone. And there was one really harrowing story where to defend someone I hadn't met. He'd come from the prison. I was a duty solicitor, which means you turn up, you don't know the person, you're just there to defend them for the day.
What was he in prison for?
He was in prison for assault and sexual offences.
Oh, God.
Pretty notorious criminal that I didn't know, but I had to go down and see him in the cells.
So you basically had to see the dark side of human nature.
Which I did every day. But this particular time, they put me in the cell to take instructions because they're always confidential. They shut the door and went upstairs and left me in the cell with this chap I didn't know how dangerous he was.
When you mean in the cell, you mean he was inside the cell and you were outside?
No, inside the cell.
And did he
the
have
door was
handcuffs
locked.
on, or?
No, he was sitting there so I could take instructions. This is a long time ago, and the police officers went upstairs and locked the door and went.
You're kidding me?
Absolutely, and then I had to ring the buzzer, and when I'd finished the meeting, and I was getting nervous, and I kept ringing and ringing, and no one was coming down. And I had this brick phone then, the mobile phone, those huge ones. The big ones. So I rang the police station, got the reception, and I said, I'm here in the cells, can someone come and unlock the door?
And he must have sensed that discomfort
he
all
sensed
over the place.
I sensed it, this is why I remember it so well, And they finally came down, and the officer opened the door, and he said, this is why we don't have women defence lawyers, because you are an occupational hazard to us. Can you imagine that?
What a creep.
Now can you imagine so many women are in the profession of defending criminals. In fact, sometimes you'd go to some of the courts and, the prosecutor will be a woman, the defence lawyer is a woman, the magistrate's a woman, and, sometimes the prison guards are women. And it just makes me think, sometimes I just stop and think how things have changed.